So we have an awesome group of people here to talk to you about poker adoption in blockchain. We have Michael Guy with Decentral Games, Joey Ingram, Michael Loncar, and Iceyyy, who are coming up right now. So give them a round of applause to get this started. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome having you.
Thanks. How's everybody doing? Check, check. Good afternoon, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Congratulations on the first day of Rare Evo. I hope you're having a great time. I know I am. My name is Iceyyy. I'm a Web3 gaming content creator. And I'm really excited to be here today with this incredible panel of professional poker players, builders, creators, and investors in the space who are very knowledgeable and active. If you're not aware, poker and crypto have a long history. Poker players were some of the earliest and biggest adopters of Bitcoin and proponents of cryptocurrency. So I'm really excited to chat with this panel. I think there's a lot of interesting insights. Why don't we get started with a quick intro? Why don't we go down the line? Michael, Guy, why don't you give a quick introduction?
Oh yeah, I'll make it speedy. Name's Michael Guy. I'm the head of growth over at Decentral Games. It's a nice little banner up there, and we were the ones that sponsored that delicious lunch that I'm sure everybody got to enjoy. And I'll just leave it right there.
Cool. My name's Joey Ingram. Been playing poker for about 15 years since I was 21. Started making content. Used to be a competitive player online. And yeah, do a lot of YouTube channel content, and yeah, try to make things interesting for the poker world.
I'm Michael Loncar. Been playing poker professionally for the last 17 years now. I'm an ACR team pro. I grind mainly online right now, but still enjoy the live setting. And I'm excited to talk about poker and crypto and ACR with you guys here today.
Yeah, so Michael, I actually want to go to you first. America's Card Room was one of the first online casinos to accept Bitcoin deposits. And to this day, it's one of the most popular ways to deposit on the website. So I'm curious, from your perspective, how has the adoption of crypto in the poker world gone over the past 10 years?
Oh man, over the last 10 years, tremendously. I mean, I didn't even know Bitcoin was a thing 10 years ago, obviously, you know, as many people didn't. Obviously, when we think about Bitcoin, we think about freedom, flexibility, mobility, so many different things that we've never experienced before when it comes to currency and money. And obviously, Bitcoin has opened up many doors in the poker world, in the online setting and the live setting, making it easy to deposit onto a site, get money off of a site, send money to a friend on the other side of the world in a different currency. And again, just being able to have the freedom to do what I want with my money, get it to where I want it to be. And yeah, crypto's been amazing as a poker player. Whether you're a poker player that needs a large amount of money quickly in Vegas, or you know, whether you just want to be able to play on an online poker site and don't have to worry about doing all of the things I used to have to do, such as go to Walmart, wait in line for 30 minutes, send MoneyGram or Western Union, wait a while. Crypto has been an amazing stepping stone for poker players to be able to access different games. And like I said, just being able to have the flexibility and freedom with your money through Bitcoin, through poker has been amazing.
I love that. Actually, Joey, I want to go to you next because we were talking backstage and you made a comment. You said, crypto revolutionized poker. Can you expound on that? What did you mean by that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, basically, so, you know, the regulation, crypto and regulation, as I got more into crypto, regulation's a big concern people are always worried about. And I saw poker and regulation, basically, it killed the poker industry. So online poker and poker in America, it used to be so popular. You spend ESPN, the poker sites, Poker Stars, Full Tilt Poker, they were popping, everything was going well. Regulation came in. The laws got changed to exclude online poker due to something they included in a bill. And then from there, right, you have to wait for regulation to come in, and regulation has to, verify these poker sites as like these public options, and that's just taken so many years. So what happened in the meantime after this happened in 2011 was other operators came in place and people want to put money on there. So Bitcoin was naturally one of the first things that a lot of online poker players started using on PokerStars overseas and all these sites all around the world, because it's not just an American thing, it's a global thing for online poker. So once that started to take place, other operators came up and said, why don't I start to accept crypto? Why don't I? It basically built all these other businesses off the back of various cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin. So now people in America especially, they didn't really have a way to play online poker for a long time. And now there's all these different app sites, there's different cryptocurrency-based poker sites, there's different, there's sites like Iceyyy and other sites like that. And it really allowed people to be able to still play poker, to still, if people love gambling, they want to gamble on things. Crypto is a form of gambling to me. It's like a casino in some ways, depending on how you're betting on these things. And it's very similar to how poker works. So without the introduction of this way to do things, who knows what would happen right now? Online poker is still not regulated, only accepted in a few states where it is regulated. So in America, there's so many places you can't play, you can't access it, you can't play against other people for real money in a way that, is just like in a regulated environment, because it just doesn't exist. So, that was really the biggest way I saw poker and crypto really shift after I started playing, after I moved back to America from overseas, and I sort of had, I had enough of going out overseas and playing, so I kind of stopped playing as much after that. So,
yeah, I'm a bit of a libertarian at heart, and it's like I remember when online poker got banned in the U.S., and it was like, it's my money, I like playing the game, why can't I just do what I want to do? And that's a theme in cryptocurrency as well: democratization, permissionless, self-sovereignty. So I think there's a lot of parallels there. But Michael, I want to go to you next, because you're actually building a game advancing poker and online poker in the metaverse with Decentral Games, who we have on the screen back there, and sponsored the lunch today. Thank you very much again by that. So I want to ask you, what does it mean to build an online metaverse casino, and how is the metaverse, what does the metaverse mean to you, and how is that enhancing the poker experience?
That's a great question. So, the idea was really simple for us. It was really based around the experience, So, when the metaverse was first being truly conceptualized and being built out, it just made all the sense for somebody to come in and be the operators of these games, of these casino games in this space. And we leapt on that opportunity. It was a huge opportunity. When we were first building there, we did everything on-chain, and we learned from a lot of those lessons along that way. And now, as we have transformed this organization moving forward, we're doing that fully compliant, to talk about regulation, which we can maybe get into a little bit later. And we're just so excited to be able to share this experience. And really the idea is simplified in that we really want to be able to bring the casino experience that you have going out there to these IRL facilities from the comfort of your own home. And I think that that's a really strong narrative to push out there. And no one's really doing it in a 3D environment, and it's all enhanced by the power of cryptocurrency and all the beauty surrounded by that. So building, I will leave the regulatory stuff with saying that building in a space of Web3 and coupling that also with gambling has been incredibly difficult to navigate along the process, but getting a multi-license, which we have just recently acquired, and we're proud to say so, makes that all the much easier.
Yeah, I do want to touch base quickly on the regulation stuff a little bit later. We'll get into that because there's a lot of things to talk about there, not only in crypto, but in poker, online gambling. But before we get there, it's really cool to hear how much poker drove a lot of blockchain adoption, right? And provided a real use case for the technology, for the cryptocurrency. How do you see that progressing? Do you think that will still continue to be true, or are there still a lot of hurdles that we have to overcome on onboarding users and setting up wallets, and what is this stuff? How do I even send this stuff? How do I deposit it onto Iceyyy? What are your thoughts on the future adoption of blockchain, crypto, and will poker still play a big role in that? And online gambling, maybe even broader than poker.
I think crypto is just like anything. The more you use it, the more comfortable you get with it, the more you realize it's not so scary. There's not so many things to be fearful of. I think it's just it's going to continue to be the snowball effect. that it has been over the last decade. And I think that snowball effect will continue and continue to hit more people, and more people will use crypto in time, and more people will understand how amazing and how many different options and doors open up from using it. And specifically with poker, it just makes everything so much easier. And one of my favorite stories of all time, my good friend Phil Nagy, the ACR CEO, always tells the story to me and friends. And he had someone come down to Costa Rica and pitch him Bitcoin in 2011. And he said this guy was just honestly one of the worst salesmen he's ever met in his life. And he said, get out of here. Paperless money, like, what are you talking about? Get out of here. Well, another salesman shows up 2 years later in 2013, I believe. I might be getting these times a little off, but very, very close. And now Bitcoin is at $200. And he was presented with the same pitch, essentially, but from a much better salesman who hit the points that needed to be hit. And he said, pull out your phone, download this app, give me this address. I'm going to send you some Bitcoin right now. They had a conversation, a little bit more Bitcoin, 30 more minutes go by, and Phil Nagy receives the Bitcoin on his phone. He said, what the hell? Just like that? I just received it out of thin air like that? I wish the salesman from 2 years ago when Bitcoin was $1 would have been as good as you. But anyways, that led him to become the first online poker CEO to adopt Bitcoin, realize the potential that it has, not just for the poker world, but for the entire world, to be able to move money, do what you want as your money, as we should be able to with our hard-earned money. We should be able to move it where we want, when we want, however much we want. And like I said, I think that adoption in crypto in general, not just in poker, will continue to be a snowball effect in time. And it is a little scary at first. I think everyone in this room can agree. The first time you tried buying Bitcoin or sending Bitcoin, you have those fears of, oh my gosh, am I sending it to the wrong address? What if this? What if that? I think it's just like riding a bike. You get more comfortable with it. You realize it's not so scary. You realize it's amazing. And it will be very cool to see the progression of adoption continue to grow and grow over the coming years in general, not just in poker.
Yeah. Joey, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, America's card was definitely changed once they started taking Bitcoin. Once Phil Nagy went over, Phil Nagy was the CEO. He's the CEO of the company. He's like the face of the company, running the company. They were one of the first poker sites that really went aggressively to accept it and to make it part of their thing, part of their pitch, part of their marketing almost, that we take crypto versus the way that they used to be transacting in terms of getting people their money, which was always like a big part of what his pitch was, is he pays people out. That's the most important thing too. So, Bitcoin, I mean, that's a whole story altogether, but, kind of going forward in terms of where it could go from here, I think poker, I wouldn't say it's tapped out in terms of where people are adopting crypto and using Bitcoin, but it's already like pretty popular amongst all the major operators. So I don't think you're going to onboard necessarily a lot more people. I mean, maybe, Michael Guy is actively trying to do this every single day with his company that he's working with Essential Games. So he's trying to figure out ways how to find these new people, because obviously a lot of people aren't gambling. They aren't playing the casino. They aren't playing poker. So, maybe I personally underestimate how much of an impact it could still have, poker as a sort of like this onboarding way to get people into crypto. I think general casino is a lot more impactful because everybody, I'm in Vegas every day. I mean, people love to gamble. Poker room has a few games going on, depending on the poker room, and then the casino floor is packed. Those companies are making billions of dollars. So that's where the real money is. And then, working poker into that, which is how most companies end up doing. They end up being not just poker, but they end up being the casino, the poker. So both can onboard someone potentially into that ecosystem to get them to be a user in the place. But I think poker has a lot of potential, but right now, I don't know for that. What do you think, Michael? You're living this every day. This is your business. This is what you do.
I mean, as far as onboarding goes,
For the use in the future, kind of where you see Bitcoin, blockchain, crypto, where you see that being a part of the ability to make crypto more of a regular thing.
Well, in relation to poker and in the gambling space, I mean, obviously the fundamentals of what crypto and Web3 offers, from transaction speed to that pseudo-anonymity factor, that's a huge factor of it too. Because when you look at like the KYC process that a lot of these poker sites and casino sites used to operate on, what they required was the hard stop for a lot of people. And Bitcoin and crypto in its entirety just really opened that up, just because you could be anonymous, you could have instant transaction speeds. A lot of this is kind of being, the general sentiment that's been shared, on this stand up here. But I also don't think that I really need to try to convince anybody in this room or even at this conference of, the fact that crypto is just going to go nowhere but up and stick around and have a profound impact on all of society, including gambling and anything poker related.
That's not financial advice. Do your own research.
Yeah, none of this is financial advice. It's interesting being like a longtime participant in the poker world, but also crypto. It definitely comes in waves, right? You have your poker booms and your poker busts, just like we have crypto booms and crypto busts. So hopefully, everyone who's here building through the bear has brighter days ahead. But speaking of getting to those brighter days, I want to ask you guys your general outlook on regulations, not only in the crypto world, but also in the poker world. We see positive movements recently in not only the crypto world, but also in the online gambling world. More and more online casinos, sports books are being legalized in more states, which is really positive. But there's still a lot of concern and uncertainty there. What's your general outlook? Are you bullish? Are you concerned? Talk to me.
About what specifically?
The future of regulation, not only in crypto, but in online gambling. Like, as more and more online gambling gets legalized in the States, is that gonna lead to a big poker boom? And hey, everyone's playing poker on ACR, you can deposit with Bitcoin, maybe there's deposit bonuses, more people are getting into Bitcoin. Or do we think that regulation is a real concern that like, hey, we've got some big hurdles to overcome?
Well, there are big hurdles, right? Because regulation right now works state by state. So there's certain states that can work together. So like, for instance, Michigan can share a player pool with somebody like New Jersey or Pennsylvania, but each state is kind of onboarding its legalized online poker in their own order. There really isn't many states that are still in it. I'm in Nevada. Nevada people can play with New Jersey people. They can't play with Michigan people. They can't play with Pennsylvania people. So there has to be this like interstate negotiations being done by these operators. So it's like the operator, the Poker Stars, World Series of Poker, GG Poker, these guys are trying to compete for regulatory licenses in America, and BetMGM and a bunch of these big casino operators. So they're got to work all those details out. Most of the money is in sports betting and casinos, so obviously a lot of that push for sports betting regulation, legalization on these apps and platforms has been real popular. So now we're starting to see what that looks like now in 2023, whereas poker's not mentioned. These other companies and other ideas are all mentioned all the time because they've worked out a deal with the NFL, NBA, the right people, right? You got to tap the right people in. You got to work with the right people to be able to make this happen. And in the poker world, I've met a lot of these people. I don't see anybody working towards that. Maybe they are in the background, but they ain't really getting the community involved. They ain't getting the most knowledgeable people necessarily involved to really help expedite or understand that process. So for me, years away in poker specifically, because we haven't really seen a company come in incentivized to really push the barrier with the right people on their team who have the vision, who have the ability, who have the courage to even step outside the box of where they're at now. So I haven't seen it recently. I've been studying this for the past 15 years, but maybe it's coming. Maybe you think, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, Joey has a valid point about like the state-by-state laws. It gets really sticky because there's the federal laws and then there's also state by state, and they all differ, and that just gets really awkward to deal with, for lack of better words. But from Decentral Games' perspective, it just made all the sense for us to pursue compliance from this like regulatory perspective for a myriad of different reasons. Not only would it hurt so bad for us to build for all of these years and then to have the door slammed in our face by regulators, and it would just shut everything down for us, right? And we also have to consider that we're the number one metaverse DAO. We manage over 8 figures in the DAO treasury, right? And so it's like we have to keep a lookout for the folks that are on our platform, for our community members, and I think that going through the Malta process for compliance really sets us up for longevity and true sustainability in this ecosystem, and it's really the only way forward for us.
Yeah, kudos on obtaining that license, by the way. I think that's massive not only for your game, but for cryptocurrency and Web3 games specifically. I'm a Web3 gaming content creator, so I spend a lot of time in this space. And, unfortunately, you do have to play by the rules and get the proper regulations and licenses and things like that. Let me ask you guys, do you think that that could be a potential future for online poker and online gambling? Does it follow the blockchain path of becoming more decentralized and democratized, where it's a global network where anybody can kind of play? And what concerns does that have with maybe the KYC type of stuff? I mean, we're all in cryptocurrency for the freedom that it offers, but in gambling and poker and things like that, there's some risks there. So do you think it goes in that direction, follows crypto, or do you think it doesn't and goes a different way?
What do you think? I think that KYCs, I think it's important to have some, especially for, I know a lot of people in crypto, it's like a big debate. Do they want to go to KYC? Do they not want to go to KYC? In gambling and poker, if I'm thinking about building a casino, me personally, I'm trying to go through those steps. I'm not necessarily looking in the metaverse casino space where the ways you could think about things are different, and the way that you're going to interact with other people who want to play on your personal platform are different. So for me, if I'm building my own platform, if I'm building my casino, I don't mind the KYC. I don't mind working together with people who are going to make my life easy. We're going to be trying to theoretically build a great product, a great service, a great company, a great value that people are going to really enjoy. So for me, when it comes to that whole thing, I don't necessarily, I'm not as the other side as most people are. A lot of crypto people, they don't want to do any of that KYC. They just want to put their money on, get it off. And I think that there's going to be products for those people always to enjoy too. So for me, I'm kind of on the other side of it, just because I've seen the damages that this stuff can do. I don't think it's a bad thing to have some security and have some regulation, especially on a gambling platform, because it's so easy for people to just basically get fucked out of their money. So that's what I investigate, is a lot of these cases in the poker world over the years, and people bring me reports and stuff like that. So my relationship's a little bit different, and that's sort of helped evolve my process on it. But most people, I could see them just not being against it. Why would they care? Who cares what happens to these people or that people? So.
Yeah, I think Joey brings up a really good point. Obviously, there's a nice comfort to just being able to just move your money on, move your money off, not go through, not necessarily jump through a bunch of hoops. But I think, like Joey said, I think it's necessary to have those hoops. It's necessary for security and to keep everything flowing correctly to have that. And obviously, I do think that there's a very good chance that with crypto becoming more adopted, global currency becoming more decentralized, hopefully, that the same will reflect on poker, and I think that decentralization will trickle into the poker world more and more as crypto becomes more popular.
Michael, I want to ask you a little bit, because you're big in the Cardano community, and maybe this is like a general, I want to ask Michael, but if you guys want to chime in as well. We're speaking broadly to the term blockchain, right? There's a lot of different chains. The tech is still being developed. What are some of the things that, from your perspective, still need to be figured out and solved to increase the onboarding? Or how can Cardano benefit from online poker? Or what do they need to grow and hit that next milestone? What is the current state of blockchain missing? Maybe that's a better way to phrase that question.
The number one thing that comes to my mind when you ask this question is losing funds. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Yeah. When I send something maybe to the wrong bank account, I can call up my bank and they'll reverse it, and it's all good. I think that's obviously something that I look for in blockchain in the future, and I hope that Cardano can kind of be one of the leaders in that category of being able to reverse a transaction. I think that's the biggest fear when I talk to people about getting in right away is, so I just copy and paste and send this 100,000 and hope it goes through. There's that fear, and I believe that will be the next step for crypto. And that's such a tough one to combat, because if it was so easy, it would have already been accomplished at this point. And like you said, I'm a massive Cardano fan. I'm a massive Charles Hoskinson fan. Today's been an absolute treat and a dream to be here today and listen to the man speak. And I believe that there will be ways down the road for Cardano and other blockchains to figure out ways around this. But like I said, man, if I had to guess, I've probably done 10,000 plus transactions, as crazy as that number is on the blockchain. And somehow I've never sent anything to the wrong address and never had anything sent. So that says something right there as to how maybe it's not as much of a worry as most people think.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I operate in the Web3 gaming space every day. And unfortunately, we still see too many occurrences of someone having their wallet hacked and losing their NFTs or some of their funds. So it's a little bit problematic that still needs to be solved. Michael, I want to ask you, because as someone who's building a game and using this technology, DG, Decentral Games, recently tweeted out that you guys were considering going multi-chain. Is Cardano a chain that you guys would consider bridging your game over to? And if so, like, how are you thinking about that?
Great question. What I can say is it's being actively discussed within our organization now, a multitude of different chains. It makes all the sense for us to open up our game and our platform and our community and our environment and everything else that we can offer to all of the chains possible. So it's being discussed. I can't give away any secrets yet and give like a full nod, yes or no. But we are actively discussing a ton of different options there. So,
Charles, if you're out there listening, he's the guy you got to talk to.
Let's talk.
Let's make it happen. Maybe we'll get him at the poker game and we'll solve it. We'll figure it out. You know. All right, guys. I don't know how much time we have left, but maybe let me, as we start to like wrap this up, and if anyone has any questions, maybe you can raise your hand. I can take a question. But I want to ask you guys: Is there something that the cryptocurrency space can learn or improve upon that the poker world has like figured out, or that you guys see as poker professionals and being through the ringer with the industry that like crypto is missing or could benefit from? I'm asking tough questions, guys. We didn't prep these ones, but I'm putting you on the spot.
How can crypto learn from poker?
Yeah, is there any lessons from poker?
Create something that you can use crypto with, basically. I mean, that's sort of what the answer is. Poker's a game, just like anything else. I mean, there's a bunch of different games where you could bet on the game. So you're basically resolving the bet in crypto. So it's only real difference between crypto poker and, fiat poker is that in a fiat poker game, if I go to the casino, if I go to the win, I buy in for 1,000, I play against another player in chips, I cash out those chips, I'm able to get fiat dollar back. I go on a certain other platform, maybe it's Cardano you're getting back, maybe it's Ethereum you're getting back, maybe it's Bitcoin you're getting back, maybe it's fiat, so for me, it's it's a very versatile game. I mean, that's what makes poker great. You can do it anywhere, anytime, anything. So but in terms of what it could learn, it's interesting. Yeah, I'll think more about that one.
I would say my perspective on it is that it's already so parallel in a lot of ways, right? I mean, it's like a dog-eat-dog world in both of them. In that, in a lot of Web3, it's this marketplace where it's like, sometimes there's a winner, sometimes there's a loser. Obviously, it has to be that way in a lot of like trading specifically. Poker is obviously no different than that. And then I think a lot of the from like a positive standpoint is like the camaraderie, the community aspect of it that exists in both industries so well. It's such a huge part of both. So I think there's a lot of parallels more than there is possibly learning from one another. It's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I agree with that. And we've got a question. What do you got? Just shout it out. Yeah. Yeah. So I think you're asking like, is metaverse poker a real thing, and what does that mean? Okay.
Yeah, I would agree. I think a lot of the investments. I'm not really a professional poker player. I don't do that much anymore. I know Michael is grinding every day, but I'm more on investing side. So I'm listening to a lot of startups all the time that are pitching me on a bunch of ideas, and that is a big proponent of what they say. One of the companies is called Social Poker too. So that's like a big thing that they're pushing to acquire new users outside of the normal poker customer base. Is instead of competing for these people who want big prize pools to be professional, to be on a big site, they are trying to theoretically build an experience that is more social, is catered towards people having a good time. Collaborate with big popular streamers is a common thing people do for influencer marketing to get people on to their platform. So I do think that, I think the most interesting you said was that the metaverse allows people to discuss the game, which is the use case for how it, really helped blow poker up. Without that, I would never have been able to create a platform for myself to even become a person whose opinion matters in the industry without having Twitter, without having YouTube, without having Instagram. So, when you look at how that could be a thing in the future, it's pretty interesting, right? And blockchain poker cases specifically, they're still evolving right now, so it's still pretty early too. But I imagine one day we'll see some amazing ideas, just a matter of time. Yeah, it could be, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think we haven't seen anybody making content like that recently, where they're making metaverse content. Ice Poker's doing something like that, but in terms of breaking through at a large scale, you need the supporters, you need ambassadors, you need people who are going to basically boost you up to get you in that position. Whether that's a famous poker player, whether that's a famous influencer, whether that's a big investor, whether that's you need that legitimacy consistently to build your brand up to that point where you're able to even get a large influx of people in, is the way I would think about that. But
That's right, yeah. Give us a couple months.
yeah. See, Mike's, I mean, that's basically what he's trying to do, is what you're saying. So it'll be interesting to follow along and see. I'm excited. See what you can do.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love the most about metaverse is I'm a social guy. I love playing poker at a casino. I love talking to people. There's lots of elements with live poker you obviously can't get in front of a computer when you're playing online. And metaverse does kind of bridge that live feel and the online feel a little bit and makes it feel a little more personal. And that's why I've always enjoyed it. Hoping ACR gets into the metaverse down the road, honestly. As great as ACR is, I would love to see their presence in the metaverse somewhere down the road, because just what you're talking about, I think the metaverse really does bridge that gap a little bit and makes it feel a little more personal and a little more real life, and yeah.
I think I can speak to this a little bit as well. Ice Poker was actually my introduction to Web3 gaming, and I was immediately struck by the experience of playing your game in Decentraland. And I think the question is what is the metaverse? What does that even mean, right? A lot of us kind of have that question, and some people are bullish, some people don't think the metaverse is real or is going to make it. What I'll say is, to your point, my man, about the VR poker and how it has created a new experience. That was what I had in Ice Poker, where you're at a table. It's not a 2D static game like our traditional online poker has been, where you're just clicking buttons, but you actually can move around and you can do these funny emotes or these dances and kind of troll the other players at the table. And it's a much more immersive experience that really adds a new layer to it, whether it's VR or in this 3D environment. that I think is truly being enhanced by the blockchain, where you have ownership and more decentralization and democratization. So I've really enjoyed it, and I'm pretty bullish on the future advancements of that experience and that technology, because I think everything's becoming more digital, right? Like we're streaming, we can jump in these home games. Like jumping into ice poker feels like the home games that I would host in my kitchen when I was a teenager with my friends every week, chopping it up. But now I can do that with anybody all over the world and still have that same experience.
Yeah, I mean that's what a lot of people dream about. When they play poker, they want to have a good time. For poker, like people ultimately want to make money. Like people play poker to win money, lose money, win big prize pools. So
that's why they use crypto too.
Poker's very simple. If you give people big prize pools, games they can play, security, and make it and show them some respect, they're going to come out, right? And really in poker, we haven't seen many people do that at a macro corporate. That's why there's a lot of opportunity in poker now. People wouldn't see that. But listen, if I know I'm finding the right ideas, because there is so much potential with the game itself, because nobody really understands how to market the game. So marketing is just such a huge thing that I think a lot of people overlook when they're talking about all these ideas, is how are you going to get people to retain them? How are you going to keep them coming around, et cetera, et cetera. So, for, I don't know, whatever. That's all I got.
I'm going to keep going.
Time, but yeah, I could go on for 7 hours.
Yeah, I'm going to keep going until they kick me off, because if you guys don't know, I'm a big fan of all of these guys on stage. This is like a privilege and a dream come true for me. Michael, I wanted to go back to something that you said earlier, and this is a question for everybody on the panel, but you drew the parallel between crypto and poker, and I've often felt that as well. There's like a lot of, the same kind of demographics, the same kind of, people characteristics, right? We're all kind of degenerates. We like to speculate. We're risk takers.
Speak for yourself, buddy.
Huh?
Speak for yourself.
All right, maybe I'll speak.
Just because I lived in the
pokerverse
metaverse my entire 20s doesn't mean that I'm a degenerate. It means I liked the metaverse.
Degen.
Just wasn't in 3D. It was on my computer like this. Click buttons. Now I'm 3D in the metaverse. So
we have a higher risk appetite, though, right? So why do you think that is? Why do you think? What do you think is the parallel between crypto people and poker players? Is it the risk appetite? Is it the libertarian aspect? Is it the search for freedom?
I want to take this one so bad.
You want to take that one so bad? Go
please,
ahead. Then.
please.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so
Go ahead.
I talk about this all the time. Like, there's a reason that such a massive percentage of poker players love crypto. It's the same game. It's gambling. It's educated gambling with information that will, possibly lead you to make good decisions. And that's exactly what poker is. Poker is long-term. If you're making the right decisions and you're making the right moves based on the small information that you are given in a game of incomplete information, the better you're going to do. The good players are going to win in the long run. The bad players are going to lose in the long run. Any player can win this game right here today, and the same goes for crypto. I can buy this meme coin today and make $1 million, but if I'm not a good trader and not making smart decisions, just like in poker, I can lose in the long run. And that's why poker players gravitate to crypto so much. They see the foundation of everything that crypto is, right? They see, like I talked about before, like we all know here, the freedom and all of the advantages that Bitcoin has over other currencies. But then when you look at the trading aspect, and you study the 4-year cycle and you get more and more information, you can make good plays in the game to make money. You're going to lose sometimes, but if you're making the right choices, just like in poker, you're inevitably going to make money in the long run. And it's such a stock market, crypto, poker, they're all related. There's a reason that poker players become stock brokers and vice versa, and same goes for crypto trading. I've always loved the game of poker, and I'm a little hesitant to say this, but I almost might like crypto trading more, a little bit more, just because I'm a big risk taker for sure. And it's a rush. Crypto trading, poker, they're both a rush, especially when you win. It's a love-hate relationship for sure, but it's a lot of fun, and it's basically the same game with a little bit of a different setup.
Do you guys feel like that's true?
Yeah, absolutely. Loncar dove into it exceptionally well. My answer would have been very short and sweet. It would have just been, and he summed it up, which is just risk reward, really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all there is to it. Yeah. Everybody has an appetite for this, you know, and the parallels are obviously there, as we explored earlier. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think once you know how to win at poker, there's not a risk. Like once you figure out how to have a winning, consistent strategy playing poker, you're not risking. It's all math. Mm-hmm. So it's inevitable that you win if you keep playing and you keep working at your game. Like you can't really, unless you know what I'm saying? There's like certain inputs that you put into your parameters, like how is my game? What am I buying in for? Who am I playing against? How do I play these hands? Once you understand these things, poker's super easy. There really isn't, you're not you're risking like your buy-in, but that's part of what the game is. You buy in for whatever it is, whether you're buying in for gold coins, whether you're buying in for fiat, whether you're buying in for Ethereum, whether you're buying in for pennies at the table, like people buying into tournaments, you know, it's not, you know, there is an element of risk, but I wouldn't say that it is risky. And you could say that poker players might they might be extra risky or something like that. I think most people are really risky and they do a lot of dumb shit. And you know what I mean? I don't think it's just unique to poker players. And I think there's some poker players who, you know, all businesses are like that. All businesses are risk. Your business can change anytime, any day. Regulations come in, you know, product go out of style. You lose the love to market. You lose a good member on your team. So I think all of it's risky. And I don't think poker is any different. I think poker is really pretty easy once you understand how to do it. You just have to want to do it and keep doing it all the time to earn enough money with the volume you put in. It's all about volume. So,
Mom, it's a skill game. I'm telling you.
all skill, baby. No gambling.
I'm telling you, I can win this.
True promoter.
I wanted to ask you guys, because yeah, we said we weren't going to get into like the investing, speculating
I
side
think
of
we're
things.
scheduled technically, but you know, everyone's still rocking with us here, and they don't have anything after us. So
Listen, I think there is sleep behind the wheel, and I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm going to keep rocking. I want to, I want to ask you guys, like as poker players, right? We talk about bankroll management and putting yourself in positive expected value situations. What are some of the, and not financial advice and not encouraging anything, you know, speculation or risky things, but like, what are some of the lessons that you can maybe speak to from bankroll management, from managing your poker careers for the crypto traders out there and speculators?
Yeah, and that just goes exactly with what I was saying before. You know, poker, risking money in poker, investing in anything, it really is all about bankroll management. You know, if you go play a $100 game in poker every night and you're doing good, you're gonna make money. But then if all of a sudden you decide one night, I'm gonna go buy into this $10,000 game because I'm feeling good, you can get wrecked. And the same thing goes for crypto trading, obviously, the same thing. You know, you gotta be smart, keep everything, you know, just keep everything within the same realm of digits and don't go crazy and don't get cocky and make rules and live within those rules, and it's all tied together. Poker, crypto trading, anything. You just got to be smart and don't overstep your boundaries, don't overstep your ego. And yeah, I mean, bankroll management's huge, not just in poker, but in life and crypto trading, everything. It's all relatable.
Mm-hmm. Don't try and make it all back in one trade, you're saying?
yeah,
don't put your entire bankroll on the table in one night?
Never.
Yeah, I think you know, I don't do much trading or speculating. I guess startup investing is pretty speculative because some of these companies, they don't do that well. But yeah, with you know, go ahead, Mike. I got nothing, man. My mic's coming out. I'm like losing.
My man woke up. I think he's ushering us off. Oh no, he's just changing out the mic. Okay.
I thought we were getting like
I thought he was wrapping us up here. I said, is it working?
Check.
Yeah, I mean, bankroll management is so important because if you don't manage your bankroll, then you're going to go out of business. You can't be in business. So it's a natural thing for a business operator to be able to manage the money that they have in the business. So whether that, no matter what you're selling or what you're doing, so poker, there's a formula. If you alter your input, you get cocky, you get egotistical, you go against your set strategy, then most likely you're going to end up on the downside of things because that's how things work. And you might get lucky sometimes, and that's what keeps people doing it, is because sometimes they win when they get out of line, when they put their whole roll on the table, once they try to make it all back in one trade, sort of thing like that. So that's what makes it fun for a lot of people. Like, they don't want to play it safe. They don't want to make money. Most people don't want to really make money. They want to make money, they do something different. Most people want to try to make money, but they don't want to make money or keep money. They just want to, you know, they don't, otherwise they do different things. Because there's a strategy to do that differently.
Spicy takes, Joey. I love it.
Yeah,
Michael.
It was all said, right? But a lot of it's just really just responsibility and consistency. But this is why we all sold at the top, right? We're all good. We all learned that lesson. We all know this.
Wait, you guys are taking profits? Yeah, we got another question. Just a little bit louder so I can hear you.
I agree, 100%, yeah.
Oh man, a question where I can directly shill our token? Oh my goodness. No, it's a great point. And yes, the DAOs are incredibly innovative and strong as far as like what we've seen as far as development and all throughout Web3. And it plays a huge part in our community in every single level. So I think it's a valid point. It really wasn't so much as a question as it was a statement, but I couldn't agree more with you.
That'd have been my dream, basically. When I was promoting PokerStars and I played on their site every day, played millions of hands, raked money to the site, it'd have been great if I had an ownership stake. If you have like an NFT or something like that, where at least your investment in the company is starting to compound in value theoretically because that asset's going to go up in value, and you were a supporter of that, promoting that. So now you not only have whatever you might have accumulated from playing that, but also you have these other investments that are acquiring a compounding equity or anything like that. Theoretically, not to say it's always going to go up in price just because a company gets relevancy or starts to make money or anything like that, because that's a whole other aspect. But with what you're saying is interesting. I don't know much about how that works in terms of how it's different than PokerStars with Ice Poker, but
yeah, well, what I can add to is like our old slogan used to be the house, and this was how we operated. We don't operate with that slogan anymore, but it still is somewhat relative in the fact that, all of our profits through the casino end up going back into the treasury. And so if you're a token holder of ours and you believe in what we're promoting, you believe in the company, then obviously, you in essence still are a part of the house. It's the way I look at it.
Yes. Yeah, please. Yeah, you're speaking my language, man. I operate in the gaming space, and we saw a huge rise in popularity with Axie Infinity, with the whole play-to-earn narrative, which ultimately turned out not to be the most sustainable business model. And right now we're looking for that unicorn that is going to prove that sustainable business model. I certainly hope it's going to be DG, and I'm super bullish, and I love everything that you guys are doing. But I think that is the opportunity in blockchain and blockchain gaming, where you can find a sustainable business model, but share more of that ownership, more of that rev share with the community members, with the holders, with the people who believe in you. We see that, right? We see that with people, staking Ethereum, getting into Cardano, voting in DAOs, buying into these NFT projects where they've got roadmaps that, look promising. So I think that that's definitely the vision and the hope, where we create more opportunity for the people that are participating in the network and contributing value to it. That's one of the reasons why I'm here, and one of the theses that I believe in. A good example of that, I think, was the Brave browser when they launched the BAT token. And it's like, hey, if we're going to spend time on our browser and you're going to watch ads, like, you should be paid and rewarded for your participation. And if you don't want to see those ads, then, no worries. So we have more ownership, not only over our actions online, but also like our contributions and energy that we put in, because attention is the new currency and resource. That's my opinion. I don't know if you guys agree with that or disagree or. Cool. Again, I'm going to keep going until they kick us off. I don't know what they're doing back there, but I appreciate you guys for still hanging out. If you guys have other questions, like, feel free to raise your hand. Before you go, my man, I'm going to do like a fire round, because this has like been, I think we've been going deep, which has been great. I've enjoyed it a lot. But like, for everyone else here, I want to ask some fun questions. So we're all in. Joey.
You're
I'm kidding. What is the favorite NFT?
Like, I'm not leaving. The show goes on. My favorite
Lock
NFT
the doors.
is the Pudgy Penguins.
Yeah, favorite NFT that you maybe own. Or favorite NFT that, like, you've purchased or like held on to. And we're not shilling, I'm just like, favorite project.
I don't personally have a favorite NFT. I don't know. Like, they're all. I like the people who work at the companies versus the thing itself. So I like the community, certain community NFT project, a certain community. So I like Pudgy Penguins. All those people are pretty cool. I know Luca, the guy who runs Pudgy Penguins, and a lot of the community seem pretty fun. And that's sort of what I go off. They got a real supportive on the community, but I'm not deep in the NFT streets, like, in trying to find the best communities and the best places to hang out. I got my main community to hang out with. So yeah.
Mine's definitely Pocket Snails. I'd be surprised if anyone inside of here has heard of it. But Ape Styles, my boy, ACR Team Pro, took it over, and they have an amazing community. They run home games on ACR now for Pocket Snail holders only, and it's a fun little poker club.
Michael?
Oh man, I don't spend too much time in NFT communities outside of Decentral Games, and what we do is we're so active as a community. But I do like my trippies. I like these trippy NFTs. It's like an offshoot of some of the apes, and I like the art there. Yeah.
Okay, continuing with the fire round questions. Over under on getting a bull run in the crypto market 2024, or if not, when do you think, when bull run? Don't all jump at once.
Well, I mean, I think the regulation is going to happen at some point in time. So once regulation sets in, however things used to go probably aren't going to go the same way anymore. So the way that people can freely trade, I don't think it's going to exist that way anymore. So it can still exist in some capacity in like a underground capacity, but I don't think it's going to be that way at the top level, maybe there could be this other market, but I don't know. I mean, I think regulations, like, they're setting up, if you study MSM narratives, like media strategies, they're all pushing towards like these common points that they're just fucking with people, right? They're like, regulations coming, it's coming, but it's like, it's the leverage to basically manipulate the prices of these assets if you're these big institutions. Mm-hmm. So you're not really playing like, when's the next natural cycle going to be? It's when do certain people, when are they ready to cut everybody out? So once they're ready to cut everybody out, then they got their bags packed, they got everything set up, their regulation set up, they made the regulation, then you're going to see that go on. And I'm sure some people along the way are going to make money because they own the assets as well too. I follow those people all the time. I'm looking for what they're doing because they know where things are headed to. So if these main influencers, like the woman I had on stage earlier was here, Welena, she works with Microsoft and she's helping to shape what these potential regulations could be at that market. Well, she knows who's going to go where, what's going to happen, and stuff like that. They're helping to shape those rules right now. So I try to follow the people who are creating the rules because they're the influencers, right? They're the financial system influencers. They're the same concept as it is in cryptocurrency. But they wear a suit and, they try to talk all slow and quiet on a table with a big fucking banner behind them. So they give you the impression that what they're saying really matters, but they're basically just messing with your mind. So, you know.
Yeah, it's tough. Michael,
It's fun.
Bull run, over, under?
I'll say that I think it all really rides on the approval or disapproval of the ETFs, to be honest with you. I think that's just, I think we're either going to just blast off into the stratosphere on the approval of the ETFs, or we're going to see, BTC test like 20K again, ish. That's my guess.
All right, guys. It's 5 p.m. I think we're going to wrap it up there. Please give a round of applause for the panel. And thank you guys so much for hanging out.
you guys.
Hope you
Thank you.
enjoyed
Thank you.
Rare Evo Day 1. We'll see you back tomorrow. I don't know if there's anything else happening after this.
After party. Well,
After party, yes.
That's
We'll
right.
see you all
Yeah,
tonight
thanks,
at the
everybody.
after party.
thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks for a question asker.
Claim your official proof of participation in Rare Evo 2023. Whether you attend physically or tune in on the live stream, you get a free NFT painted by Brendan O'Connell live from our Expo Hall floor, and you get whitelisted for the Rare Perks NFT presale. By claiming, you will be entered into a giveaway of multiple rewards, including the original one-of-one physical painting by Brendan, along with exclusive access and opportunities for Rare Evo 2024, including but not limited to free general admission and VIP passes, a 10x10 booth, workshop space, and more.